تزدهي أحرفي والجمل بقاعة زهر وفرحة عمر وسعد أطل هلا مرحبا يا كرام الوجوه لكم تزدهي أحرفي والجمل بقاعة زهر وفرحة عمر وسعد أطل
Hey, youth of today, it's time to keep it real. Real talk, real issues, real youth. From mental health and peer pressure to faith, identity, and the power of social media. No topic is off limits. Join Sumaya Khan every Wednesday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. on Radio Lansar. Real talk where your voice matters. It's your space, your story, your platform. Real talk, real issues, real youth. Only on Radio Lansar. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to our second show of Youth Frequency with me, Sumaya Khan, producer and presenter of the show. It's not school matters, but it's the Youth Frequency where we tackle the real issues our youth faces every day. Adults often shy away from these topics, but the youth, young adults, age between, you could say, 15 to 25, need advice, guidance, and a space to be heard. And that's exactly what we provide here. This is your time, your voice, your platform. So stay tuned, get involved, and let's make today's conversation count. Tonight, this evening, we're diving straight into a topic that affects so many young lives. Are you high on substances or high on life? Well, be talking about the use of drugs, cannabis, and recreational substances, which unfortunately has become the reality or even the norm for a lot of youth today. But this isn't just about pointing fingers. We want to understand the pressures, the reasons, and the choices young people face. And most importantly, explore healthier ways to feel fulfilled, motivated, and truly high on life. So, our future leaders, whether you're listening from home, your phone, or on the move, this conversation is for you. So, stay tuned, get ready to reflect, and let's unpack things together. The use of drugs, cannabis, and recreational substances, unfortunately become the reality and in some cases the norm for many young people today. But this conversation isn't about judging. It's about understanding the pressures, the choices, and the reasons behind this trend and exploring how we can feel truly fulfilled, motivated, and high on life in a healthy way. Our in-house panel and hands-on with the youth, counselor, motivational speaker, and someone who is just out there in the community, always giving positive vibes, positive change. I'll say she's a change shifter. Jamie, welcome to co-hosting Youth Frequency, our second show.
It's a pleasure to be back here, Sumaya.
I remember my word from last week, lit.
Yes.
Well, the house is quite lit today. I see Mama Bear is sitting on the sofa there. She's just like waiting, Let's see when I can just give my 5 cents in or my 2 cents. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Excited to be here and talk of this topic.
We received absolutely positive comments on the show. Listeners enjoyed your vibe, keeping it real. And I think our youth also, from the messages received, we have someone representing us. We have someone who's young and bold, not somebody who's just reading from ChatGPT or somebody who's just reading notes and stuff like that, but you're keeping it hands-on from the ground. And, the topic which we are discussing this evening is something which we mentioned last week, substances. Are we high on substances or are we high on life? With all that you're involved, why do you think some youth turn to substances?
Well, the reason why I think this is an interesting topic is because it aligns so much with what we spoke about last week, with the challenges that the youth face. There could be multiple reasons, but I feel that the one that I want to touch on is escapism. Literally, what I brought up last week. I feel that when the youth does not know how to regulate their emotions or really deal with the thoughts that is happening within them, because we aren't taught this by schools or by our parents, I feel that maybe they will end up turning to something where they feel that could help them escape, or maybe even that they could find their answers, which isn't necessarily the best thing.
Do you know, lots of parents, adults aren't there, and we say, it'll never be my child. My child will never do that. No, no, no. I grew them up right. No, no, they have good friends. But you know what? We cannot say that because the culture is such where times are changing and the youth want to experiment
Yes.
and it's like hip and happening if you're like out there, doing stuff. Is it stress, peer pressure, boredom, something deeper?
I think it could definitely be a mixture of all, and definitely something deeper. A lot of the time, we tend to look on the surface and just say, yes, peer pressure, which it could definitely be, or yes, stress, which it could definitely be.
Yeah.
But we still have to get straight to the source and provide our youth with better assistance. Like, how do we help them to overcome the peer pressure? Then, how do we help them understand themselves in a way where they can stand firm within themselves and know that they don't need it? Or how do they then deal with the stress? It's easy to point out the problems, but what are we doing to help them understand how they can help themselves?
Exactly, and without us being judgmental or coming down on them as a ton of bricks, and that just
100%.
makes matters worse. Well, in house, Jamie, we have brother Mukhtar. He's from Rauf. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You co-host a show with Dad. You said I'm not going to say that, but I'm saying that there. He is a veteran. On my other show, School Matters, for like almost over a decade, he always comes in, with real situations, real life stories, assisting everyone realistically, And our topic this evening, as you were listening, is substances. Are you high on substances or are you high on life? This is a reality. Can you tell us the truth, reality, what's happening out there when it comes to substances, especially with our youth?
So, just for our listeners out there, it's not Sunday, it's actually Wednesday.
And just for the listeners out there, it's not Tuesday, School Matters, that was yesterday.
So, yeah, I was listening to you guys, and yes, Rauf has been around for 27 years officially. And prior to that, it's been around a bit longer as well. And what we've noticed is a trend of drug and substance abuse. Actually, the users getting younger, to a point where I think it was 15. We had a 15-year-old recently. We had a 16-year-old recently. But if you look statistically speaking, substance abuse, people start to experiment sometimes from the age of 6, and I think the national norm is about 12. So substance abuse is a massive problem, and as you had previously mentioned, Jamie, it's a combination of multiple things, but more often than not, it is simply a choice.
You said 6. Michelle, I'm going to talk to you from the Peanut Gallery. 6 years. I'm shocked. I'm totally shocked. 6 years. I mean, I'm an educator by profession. You are involved with the youth and you do a whole lot of other stuff. 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years.
Those are stats. So, as I was saying, it is a combination of multiple things, but more often than not, and really at the end of it, it is a choice. Yes, there is peer pressure, there is stress. Yes, emotional regulation is a big problem that, our youth don't know how to emotionally regulate themselves emotionally. But come end of the day, ask any person who's been on drugs, anybody forced you? No. Why did you do it? I wanted to. So, we've got 2 brothers here who will give us a bit of their story, later on in the show as well. And you'll find that we have noticed a lot of the time, a person will venture into the world of substance abuse or substances purely because they don't want to be left out. It's, the whole, and from my personal opinion, from what I've experienced over the number of years that I've been with Rauf, you'll find that this excuse of stress and peer pressure and broken homes and so on and so forth, more often than not, is just what it is, an excuse. It's any valid reason or any reason to validate the fact that they are taking what they're taking and doing what they're doing. So yeah, substance abuse is a choice. Yes, there are litigating factors, there are circumstances that can lead up to it multiple times. Every scenario is different, but more often than not, it is a choice. It is a choice made by the person, because I mean, as you had mentioned, a lot of our community, people don't like to accept the fact that, look, your son is a drug addict, or your daughter's a drug addict, or your wife's a drug addict. I mean, that's the reality of life.
That's so true, because like while I was coming to radio, I received a message on my phone. I'm 26 years old. My wife is 24 years old, and I just discovered that she partakes in recreational drugs. That's coke parties with her friends from the Durban area. Has lots of money. How do I assist her? Can I listen to the show? How can you help me? So I told the person, listen to the show. I was quite shocked. So again, you want to fit in. You want to be in the what is it? The new culture.
FOMO, yeah. Fear of missing out. And Sumaya, it actually goes even further. We expect this problem to be a naughty person problem. It's ulama, it's hufaz, it's molana, it's muftis, it's qaris, it's women in niqab. It's such a big problem, and this stems all the way from that foundation which isn't laid properly at the very beginning of life.
Do you know what, Michelle? The shoe hiding, the rolling pin, 5 fingers.
It's illegal nowadays, eh?
But we grew up like that. No, come on.
Look, yeah, the law is the law. We have to follow it according to what we can do. But yeah, so back to the conversation about substance and so on. It is a massive problem, and at Rauf we've been focusing primarily initially on the adult, addict, and then slowly, as the problem had increased amongst the youth, we started to evolve and bring ourselves focusing more on the youngsters. And for our listeners out there that do listen to our show on Sundays, I think it was about 2 or 3 Sundays ago, my dad did come on. And interviewed a few youngsters that had coordinated a youth camp, which we've been hosting now for about 4 to 5 years. And this is one of the ways that we look at empowering the youth and showing them what drugs can actually do to them. And with that, I mean, we've always said this every single week on radio, for our parents, caregivers, student, teachers, principals, SGB members, we are there to come to you and do a free awareness. All you gotta do is reach out. And the sad thing is, our community is so afraid of the stigma that Rauf is coming to my property. There's a problem, so they don't even call us. So yeah, it is the community, unfortunately, and the problem isn't getting any easier. It's getting worse, unfortunately.
And it gets everyone, every race, every culture, every religion. I interact with a lot of religious leaders from different cultures and the community leaders. They say it is so common. It's no more a poor man's problem.
Yeah.
It's no more a poor man's problem. Michelle, you are quite involved in this. When you were sitting over, I said, come to this the mic. We need you to talk from mommy's point of view. I mean, we used to get hiding, embarrassed. Now you can't do that. You said we'll go to jail.
100%. The law is the law, and whereas I do agree that kids have rights and they shouldn't be treated badly, I do also think that we are limited now as parents in a sense of even punishing our kids. I mean, I've got 4 kids, and I've witnessed even 1 or 2 of my kids going through adolescence saying to me, what are you going to do? Hit me. When they go through adolescence. So it does limit us, because even punishment, what do? You say go stand in the corner, they say no, and I work a lot with other youth's parents as well to assist their kids. And some of the things the kids are saying, because they taught that there is no repercussion or there is no punishment for them.
Yeah. Back in the day, it was like if you found cigarettes, it was like a big thing. Now, parents, adults, young adults, if you find a cigarette, it's okay. That's safe. The way life is going on. So now if you want to relax, it's like, it's like buying a Coke, buying, I'm not promoting Coke. It's like buying something to drink or buying an ice cream. That's how drugs is today.
Yeah.
Michelle, one of the things that we focus on a lot amongst our support group program and so on is we as parents, we become caregivers. Right? And a caregiver is not necessarily a parent. A caregiver is anybody that can take care of a person. So we promote the fact that if you want to implement a rule, you got to abide by the same rule. So you don't do as I do. So you don't do as I say, but rather do as I do. And that is where I think Rauf has had such a success, because we tend to facilitate the entire family into becoming rehabilitated. Because if you look at a person that's that's under the curse of substance abuse, you will find that that one particular individual impacts 73 different lives all around them. And that's where, the caregivers have to actually come in.
Jamie, campus, colleges, schools, the matrics are writing. Party now after the exams, December. It's gosh, I'm going back in time. I'm giving our ages away. What was it? The rave party. it was those parties, but now it's party time.
Constant 500.
Exactly. Oh yeah. And you know what? And now that's where everything is happening. I mean, what's the scene? What is it like on the streets right now?
To be honest with you, I don't tend to go out that much on the street
Come
in
on, you
that
can
way
tell
to
us
be
some.
able to
Yeah.
answer you, but
Yeah.
just based off of, maybe seeing on social media or friends within my circle. First of all, I will say to everybody listening, guys, be safe, whether you are a parent, whether you're a child. It's understandable. We all want to have fun, but I definitely feel that there's a responsible way to go about it. My mom mentioned children having rights, of course, now that there's a way to go about things, but with rights comes responsibilities. And I feel that the youth is very quick to say, I have a right, but you have to understand that there's a certain responsibility. And with any sort of substance that you're taking, it's important to understand that that is going to bring out whatever you are feeling inside, and it's going to multiply it by 10. So yes, it's easy to say, I want to let loose, I want to go, I want to have a party, but let's just say emotionally or mentally you're not feeling right, or you're not in the best space. You're going out there in the world and you're doing that, and it's bringing all of that up. And there's plenty of people on the streets who are more than happy to take advantage of you in some sort of way. So you have to play that role to protect yourself. Our parents or caregivers aren't always there to do it. And yes, you want to have freedom, you want to go out and you want to have fun, that's fine. But then you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be safe. You have to know, I'm going to be in the right mind in order to protect myself. And that comes with growing up. I mean, as a youth, we want to be trusted, and we want to grow up, and we want to be given that opportunity. Then us as the youth, we got to step up and we got to show you we can be responsible.
And we want to be hip and happening and looking cool. We'll be
Yes.
taking a short ad break.
Teaching you something new every day. Radio Al Ansar.
The Al Ansar Cancer Support Group hosted its annual Chai Day on Saturday, 25th October 2025 at the Al Ansar Hall, 189 West Road, Overport. A humble appeal is made to you to contribute mini cakes and savories for our tea garden. To pledge your support, kindly contact Zora Barak on 064-963-1193.
Africa. For too many communities across Africa and the world, access to clean water remains a dream. At Africa Muslims Agency, we dig deep, reaching into the heart of the earth to fill the cups of those in need. Sponsor a water well for 16,500 Rand, or a borehole in Afghanistan for 55,000 Rand, or Africa for 65,000 Rand, or any amount. With water comes food, health, education, and growth. An ongoing reward with Africa Muslims Agency.
Plan your dream holiday with the specialist, World of Travel, as we pride ourselves in offering you the best in Hajj and Umrah. We also offer travel packages to the Middle East, Far East, and many more exotic destinations. Call our professional travel consultants now on 031 20 888 or view our website www.worldoftravel.co.za. Visit us at 44 Crescent Street as memorable journeys begin with World of Travel by Irshad Malik.
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7, 365.
There's a path if you want it. But the street is surrounded by thorns. Oh, you'll see and smell roses you think you like, but they're only there so you stray from the course. Every chance that I get when it's standing so hard. Praying for guidance and hope when you honest my heart. Love when the faith filling up, but I know it'll fall. It isn't for long. I got it, can't stop it. Won't slow up, keep walking. We fall down real often. It's all good, keep folding, keep falling down. Get up again and again. If you wanna look amazing, lady, you know what you gotta do right now. Cover up your beauty for the Almighty. You do all this for your genius. Sacrifice is only temporary. You know what you gotta do right now. Your hijab is your crown. We all see anywhere to serve Ilahi. Hijab, Biko, hijab, Biko, hijab, Biko. You wear it for Allah. Hijab, Biko, hijab, Biko, hijab. Because you wear it for Allah. She's independent, this hijab is something. She knows what she wants, she is a queen. She don't follow trends in magazines. Quran and Sunnah is a daily routine. If you wanna look amazing, lady, you know what.
Avoid negativity. You can't avoid negativity completely. I mean, it's everywhere. But at the end of the day, your life is yours and your choices matter. So you just have to take your negativity with a pinch of salt and keep moving forward.
Right now, your hijab is your crown. We all see and you wear it to serve Ilahi. Hijab, Biko, hijab, Biko, hijab. Because you wear it for Allah. Hijab, Biko, hijab, Biko, hijab, because you wear it for Allah. H-I-J-A-B, she wears it, she's a queen. She wears it for her deen. It's a H-I-J.
I am 21 years old. You know, every time when I have an argument or a disagreement with my parents, gosh, then they start saying when they were young and when they were my age, they had to wear a scarf and pants and they couldn't go out, they had to stay in the house. Come on, guys, times are changing. So my view is there's nothing wrong for us to go out and come home whatever time you want. We're no more kids.
What you gotta do right now. Your hijab is your crown. We all see it.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, welcome back to Youth Frequency, a brand new show, our second show, and it's for you. Yes, if you are between the ages of 15 to 25, even older, even younger, if you feel you're quite big for your boots, well, and need advice, guidance, and a space to be heard, that's exactly where you should be, right here, Youth Frequency. Our topic this evening, we are talking about, are you high on substances or are you high on life? My co-host, Jamie, her mum, the sidekick, Michelle, and we have Mukhtar from Rauf who's here. Yes, we were busy talking how times have changed and how, to experiment in substances. It's not that I'm depressed. Yes, these are our views. It's basically you just want to be hip. You want to be in the crowd and you just want to, be in what's happening, what's current. Mukhtar, you were mentioning that it is so common. It's so common.
Yeah, drugs in itself has grown to such a point. It doesn't really help the situation, knowing that our parents, our caregivers, and I'm not blaming anybody, right? This is just a pure observation, have become so lax in certain aspects of life. I mean, I was doing some research for Sunday's program, and I think I mentioned it on air on Sunday as well, that I was outside my son's school on Friday waiting for him to pick up for Jummah Namaz. And I think there was a group of about 10, 15 kids there. And from that group, I think maybe about 70, 80% of them all had vapes in their hand. And this is something that we tend to overlook. Jamie and I we were all discussing this during the ad break, and there's lots of things that we as caregivers need to implement. We need to empower ourselves about certain aspects. And with us not knowing what to look out for and where the problems are, it does now leave our children in a situation where they don't know what to do because we don't know what to do.
Exactly.
And then as Jamie was mentioning as well with regards to going out and responsible fun and that type of thing. And yes, I agree that fun should be had responsibly, but at the same time, how do you know? Do the caregivers, do the parents know where the children are? Have they checked to see what they're doing? I mean, yes, it's all fun and games after the exams, but what about the drug abuse taking place now, before the exams, or even during the exams? Because I mentioned this on Sunday. There are parents out there that would actively go out and find performance enhancing drugs to help their kids to study, to focus, and so on and so forth. And these drugs that are being given pharmaceutically actually are meant for other ailments.
That's true.
So now we're giving our kids, we're showing them that it is okay for you to take a prescription illegal, well, not the way it's supposed to be, to help you to study. And now this carries over into later years, and then it just grows and grows and grows.
Well, tonight we are joined by some very special guests, young people who have lived through the struggle of recreational drugs and the ills of society. They've walked the path, faced the consequences, and today they're here to share their stories with honesty, courage, and reflection. They have regrets, lessons, and advice to offer, not to scare you, but guide you, to help you make better choices and to show that there is always a way to turn your life around. So if you've ever wondered about the realities behind the highs or how easy it is to get caught up in these things, you'll regret later. This is your chance to listen to Youth Frequency right now. It's straight from those who have experienced it. So we have Brother Mukhtar from Rauf. Can you interview our youth who you brought along?
So I'm going to start with, I call him Baijan the last time he was on air because he's a bit shy to give his name out. So I'm going to call Baijan to tell us a bit about his life and how he introduced himself to substances.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Good evening to everyone out there. So my drug addiction started at the age of 16 years old. And before that, actually, because before I actually started doing the drugs, it was obviously my behavior that led me to doing the drugs. And before all of this, I wasn't always that bad child that wanted to do wrong things and all of that. Obviously, I was doing my spirituality stuff. I was getting into all the right things. And then there came when I came to a certain age, I started looking around, and I made that decision to now want to be with all the wrong people and associate myself with all the wrong people. And at the time, I knew I was well aware of what I was doing because I knew that drugs was wrong in all of this. And my mother warned me so many times that if I do drugs, she will send me straight to a rehab. And me knowing that, I still did it. And there was many examples for me in my life that what this road can lead you to. Like my granny, she has a drug addiction with Xanax. My father has a drug addiction with crystal meth. So I can't say that I wasn't aware of what I was doing and putting myself into. And when I came to high school, that's where I first started. I went with one of my so-called bras, and he was smoking weed. And before this, I never touched drugs before. And that one night, I just made that choice to smoke drugs to show them now, hey, I'm this big person, or to look like I'm this big person, but in reality I was a fool because look where it led me to. And and from there it escalated. I started indulging in Xanax, and then it went to lean, and it just got worse and worse over time, because this is what the drugs do to you. It took me away from my family, like the emotions and all of that. When I was at school, I was a different guy. I was like naughty, catching up to all the mischief. Teachers calling my mother every day. And then when I went home, I was this angel in the house and my mother never knew what I was really up to. And then there came a time where I got caught out now because my drug addiction got so bad to the extent where my behavior she could see like my father in me. And one of the nights she found my drugs in my room. And the next day she took me to Raouf, straight to Raouf to do a drug test. And I was positive for whatever drugs I was doing. I don't want to say it. And yeah, from there I started attending my Friday night programs. And then after that I started attending weekend programs. And even when I attended weekend programs, I was so bad where I was still going against the rules, going against the guidance, and catching up to mischief in school, bunking classes and all of that. And then silly season came. Silly season, I went, it was straight after the final exams. My mother asked me if I want to go spend a week in Raouf. And I told her yes. And then when I went there from that week, it just so happened that I started studying from there and all of that. And it helped me in so many ways because even now when I go to college, there's so many challenges that I experience on a daily way. Like even this one guy, they asked me if I have a joint on me, and that showed me like how normal this thing came. To ask someone, just ask someone if they have a joint on them, like not even talking to them or anything or yeah. And then yeah, I started. So for my third term trials in matric, I failed my third term trials in matric, and I never had hope in myself. And Raouf motivated me to the extent where where I was studying and started taking my studies seriously, because I needed a purpose in my life and to do something, because I can't be that person where the link is carrying on in my family now, and I'm gonna be the next drug addict. And my mother loses a child where she didn't deserve that. So, and then in finals, I passed my matric with a bachelor's, and from there I started studying electrical engineering, and I'm been sticking to the program of Raouf. And
Alhamdulillah. What advice do you have for someone out there right now, a young adult just like you, who's busy in substance abuse and think, I'll stop it eventually?
you know, I had that exact mentality when I started attending the program. I was in so much denial where I thought that I never had a problem, and I'm not that person to have a problem. I had so much of pride in me, man. And I would say that there's more to life, because your friends is gonna only be there in high school. And that's not your true friends, because once anything wrong goes, they're not gonna be there. None of my friends called me since I was in this place. Not one.
Wow.
So it just showed me that there's no such thing as friends, it's only family.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's what I can say for them.
Abdullah's Baijan has also been one of our co-coordinators for our youth camp that happened not too long ago. So he has grown quite a bit. I mean, as you mentioned, he did his matric studies and so on from the center. We allowed him that time and space to do whatever he had to do.
Okay. You have another young adult.
Yes. So the next person is someone that our listeners that have been listening to my show should actually be quite aware of. His name is Mohammed. He was with me last Sunday as well. And he's about 18 years old as well. I'd like to maybe ask Brother Mohammed, could you please tell us a bit about your life? Maybe focus on what age you started on, and the type of drug that initially got you, into the good books or the bad boys.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to the listeners.
Salam.
Brother already introduced my name, and just gonna jump straight to the point. So, started off, I was raised in a good family, raised with the right morals and ethics, good conduct, And so that all lasted up until probably the age of 8-9 years old, starting from grade 1 to grade 2. That's when my behavior started changing, because I was the type of people that I would find more entertainment joining considered to be the wrong group of people, like, the naughty kids in class, like the ones that would always be bunking, always running mocks with the teachers, just completely misbehaving. And I would like that. That's what I was inclined to, because I thought it was fun. And for me, that's where it all started. Started off by misbehaving in class, not listening, then eventually led to the same thing at home. I would refuse to listen. I didn't want to do anything. Didn't want to do my homework. Till eventually led up to a point when I was at the age of 13 years old. So I was at COVID time. So I couldn't go out anymore, couldn't basically do anything. I was stuck at home doing online school. And I was getting bored and irritated. So I decided, let me pass some time and experiment with something that I've heard about. That I've heard about, because eventually it came to a point in my schooling where I got bored of the people that I would say my peers. I got bored of them, and I decided to look towards the guys that are much older than me. The guys that are maybe smoking, drinking, all of that. And I started getting more curious, and I heard of a substance which was called marijuana, also known as weed, street name dacha, ganja, so on and so forth. And I started getting curious about the substance and started going there instead of attending my lessons online. I started watching videos and doing Googling a whole lot of stuff about the substance, trying to find out, okay, what's this, what's that. Because growing up, I was genuinely a curious child. I always wanted to know things, always had 100 questions to one simple thing. And it started there. I eventually got my hands on it by one of my brother's friends, which was, again, much older, and just started coming inside and all of that. So I eventually got my hands on the substance and tried it for the first time, and I ended up liking it because I felt as if it calmed me down, and all this, all that. And I started liking it from the age of 13, and then I carried on with it. Carried on for about a year, and by the age of 14, then started getting enough of weed. Then eventually I decided to try alcohol, because at this time now I was starting to, my whole friend group changed from hanging around with people my age. It was a completely different ball game, where I would surround myself with people that are much, much older than me, like around my brother's age, which at the time I was at the age of 14. My friend group was all 18, 19, 20, and upwards. And I started off with the alcohol, got into I was a full-blown alcoholic within 3 months of trying it for the first time. And it wasn't just drinking it to have fun, and I was drinking it any day, every day, all day. That's what I was doing with my life. Then slowly I started dropping out of school, started missing school, bunking school, just to go out with my friends. And then eventually led to a point where, with the alcohol, then the Xanax got thrown into the picture, where they got introduced to me. They said, try this, and make you feel a certain type of way. And I ended up liking that as well, because that's the type of person that I became. I ended up liking who I was becoming, and like indulging myself in all these substances, just doing all the wrong things. And eventually it got to a point where it wasn't just the substance that was a problem, because the substance wasn't the only problem. It was the type of person that I was, and the type of person that I was becoming. I inclined myself to the wrong things and surrounded myself by people who were leading the lifestyle that I wanted to lead. And eventually it came all the way to a point where, at the age of 15, that's why I did my first line of coke, because it got introduced to me the one night when I got too drunk and I needed to go home. And then one of the guys I was hanging around with, they gave it to me, and they said, "This, you'll be okay when you go home." So me, willing to jump into anything, I went for it. And then that's where I would consider that to be the beginning of the end of my life. Because after hitting that first line, it completely changed my life. It went from bad to worst.
Yeah.
Because then it wasn't just like a mellow high that I was chasing. It was a rush, where I did anything and everything for it. Ended up robbing people, even stealing from my own family. Ended up doing all upside down things, some of which I was not going to mention. And then got so bad to the point where, this was at the time now, my family did know that I was in addiction. Well, as far as they knew, it was only the marijuana and the Xanax, because that's what like I would show them that I come in the house smelling of souls, drinking, like smelling of alcohol, completely like and not there at all. Like they would speak to me, I would be unresponsive, wouldn't, would just seclude myself from anyone. And
Well,
everything.
you know, it's quite sad. Jamie, before we round up.
So, what I want to maybe ask any one of you, because you guys have had hands-on experience, if you could go back to that specific version of you being where you are right now, because I'm sure that version of you never thought you were going to get out of it, what would this version of you tell that version of you that you think would really make a difference or change the course of your life?
Well, when you think about it, you know, there's so much of emotions and feelings right now, because like our guys think, you know what, they just lost themselves, and they have regret. But Alhamdulillah, you know, thanks to the Almighty, there is always a silver lining. I'd like to thank Brother Rauf, Mukhtar, and our youth who came along, Jamie co-hosting with me, and Mummy Bear. I think I'm going to call her Mummy Bear. You know, this was a hardcore show. This was like a hardcore show, and we never do justice, you know.
Could I maybe just say something to the two boys before you end, Sumaya? Just a second. Guys, I just want to tell you how proud of you I am. And I just want to add that your family are actually your angels, because had you not had a family that was so supportive and understanding to you, you might not have made it.
Exactly.
So always look to the Almighty and be grateful for where you were born.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing. And the other thing, I just feel in my spirit that purpose is sitting so hugely upon both of you. And even you guys sitting here today telling us your story, I'm so inspired by you. And I can't wait to see what the Almighty does for your life.
Exactly.
So I'm going to keep in contact and find
with
out.
everyone, huh? So I'd like to thank Brother Mukhtar, Michelle, Jamie, our guys who are here, and everyone. You know, yeah, you can tell us, you know, how did it feel? How did you get involved? And you can sit down and put pen and paper, you right now who's listening in this very similar situation. You know, what's your turning point, your regrets, your support system? Do you need them? Advice for the youth, that's you. And remember, be high on life and not substances. Youth Frequency is a show for you right now. We're not judging you. We're not shouting you. We want to help you. We want to save you, because you are the future leader of this country, and you are the next mom or dad. From me, Sumaya Khan and Jamie, Assalamu alaikum till next week.
Allah, hijra, bigger, hijra, bigger, hijra, bigger. You wear it for Allah. She's independent, this hijab is on deen. She knows what she wants, she is a queen.
Real issues, real youth. Exclusive to Radio Lansar with Sumaya Khan.
It's a daily routine. If you wanna look amazing, lady, you know what you gotta do right now.
Radio Alansar, 24/7, 365.
An informative Islamic global perspective.